if you're prompted, pray. That's not you. That's the Holy Spirit. No one seeks God on their own. So if there's any sense in you of being prompted to pray, that's the Holy Spirit. Just follow that. Pray in the Spirit. So what does pray in the Spirit mean? I think it means this. It means prayer is not a kind of prayer. It's the only way to pray. It's prayer prompted, it's prayer guided, and prayer empowered by the Holy Spirit. That's what it is. Prayer prompted, guided, empowered by the Holy Spirit. Now, make a note of this. You'll be going about your day and you'll feel a prompting to pray. Maybe for a person, maybe for yourself, maybe for your neighbor, maybe for something else. If you're prompted, pray. That's not you. That's the Holy Spirit. No one seeks God on their own. So if there's any sense in you of being prompted to pray, that's the Holy Spirit. Just follow that and let him guide you. Sometimes he'll put thoughts in your mind as to how to pray. Sometimes he'll show you things. In fact, this is an easy way to identify things. When you see a fault in somebody, don't criticize them. Don't gossip. That's a call to intercede. God will show you the faults of people so that you can intercede for them. So you pray for them because you know where they need help. Pray in the Spirit, prompted, guided, empowered by the Holy Spirit. And then he says, on all occasions, all the time. The Christian life is a with God life. We should have stated times of prayer, but you just pray all the time. You know, I'm not a great sit down and pray for 2 hours guy. I spend as much time in God's presence as I can, but I just like to pray whenever I can and set up a bullet prayer. I come in on Sunday mornings and I pray the Lord's Prayer. But there's other times during the day when I just pray when I need to. I'll give you an example. My son, Rick, he's in Victoria. He's in real estate. And I talked to him on Friday. He said, Dad, got a call the other day, just out of the blue. This guy says, hey, Rick. And he said, I don't know who it was, so I called him back. And apparently this is the guy that he met a long time ago. This guy says, hey, Rick, I got this big house I need you to list, and I need to buy something else. Can you just come and list it? So, of course, Rick goes out. He sits in front of this house. Before he goes in, he says, Father, I did nothing to deserve this, so I want to say thank you. And just before I go in, I asked for favor and wisdom as I talked to these people. Then he went in. That's a with God life. You just invite him into your stuff. You just access his power and his presence. It's a great privilege that we have. So you can pray short prayers like that, long prayers. You can pray bullet prayers. Help can be a really good prayer if you mean it. Help can be a really good prayer. That saved Peter's life. Do you remember? Peter says, I can walk on the water, and he goes to Jesus, and he gets his eyes off Jesus, and he begins to sink. He basically says, help. And Jesus reaches out his hand. When you say help, Jesus is that close that he can just reach out his hand and lift you up. Help's a good prayer. Just pray on all occasions, he says. This is a tremendous privilege that we have. Direct access anytime. Ephesians is full of prayers that you can pray for yourself. Chapter 1, this is the way he says you ought to pray for yourself. Pray that God would give you more of his spirit of wisdom and revelation so you'd know him better. Pray that he would open the eyes of your heart, that you would know the hope to which he's called you. Pray that you would know the incredible power of the Holy Spirit, just the same power that God used when he raised Jesus from the dead. Chapter 3, pray that you'd have a better understanding of how long and high and wide and deep is the love of Christ, and to be filled with that love that surpasses knowledge. Pray. The great thing about prayer is you don't have to invent anything. You just have to pray the prayers that have already been written. They're all in the Bible. Just pray them. Pray the book of Psalms. Pray the Lord's Prayer. Pray the prayers in Ephesians. You know what? If that's all you ever pray, you'll be like a there's only one super person in this business, it's Jesus, but you'll be a mega Christian. You'll do great things for God if you just take the prayers of the Bible and pray them.